Welcome to another episode of Sharing is Caring. I'm your host, Blue, and today we have a very special guest joining us, Kristina. The founder of Wine Sapiens will be sharing her expertise on Spanish organic wines. If you're a wine lover or simply curious about the world of organic wines, this episode is for you. Kristina will take us on a journey through the diverse regions of Spain, highlighting the unique grape varieties and wine styles that make Spanish wines so special. We'll also learn about the benefits of choosing organic wines and how they contribute to a more sustainable future. So grab a glass of your favorite wine, sit back, and join us as we explore the world of Spanish organic wines with Kristina. And don't forget to subscribe to our show to never miss an episode. Thank you for being faithful listeners. And let's dive into this exciting conversation.
So, hi, Kristina. How are you?
Hello, Jonathan. Very well. Thanks for this invitation. You know, it's very nice to get to know about your project and yeah, be part of the community. So really, I think that the ideas and values that you propose are very in line with I also personally believe and professionally try to do.
It's so nice. So yeah, it's such a good match. I've read your post on LinkedIn and I was hooked. And thank you so much for accepting the invitation and for joining our show and community.
Perfect. Yes, exactly. So as you talk a lot about food, and you know, wine is part of the food, especially here in Spain. So I think it's definitely part of the ingredient.
Spanish food is awesome. I don't know why you're surprised. It's super good.
Yeah, I don't know, definitely. Like food in Spain, like food and sharing and wine and the whole Mediterranean culture, it was one of the reasons why I moved to Spain, because I'm originally from Lithuania, born in a green forest, very connected and surrounded by nature. And then I lived in London and in England and studied there. But when I moved to Spain for my one part of my studies, I realized that Spain connects, you know, the quality of life, the nature, the lifestyle of the people. Of course, the sunshine gives so much positive energy to the environment. So it's all melted together. I decided to settle down in Spain.
Where is it that you are? Just so our listeners know.
Right now in Barcelona.
Okay, cool. So yeah, one of my favorite cities. I knew it, but yeah, one of my favorite cities.
In front of the Mediterranean. So yeah, it's true that Barcelona joins this, you know, kind of big multinational city, but also like has the mountains on the side, the sea in front, and lots of vineyards nearby.
So there we are. So you work in wine?
I do.
What sparked your interest in Spanish wine and specifically organic Spanish wine?
So wine for me actually connected many dots that were kind of, I would say, priorities now in life. So it was this connection to nature, the product and the that is part of the gastronomy and the food culture, and also that you surround yourself when you work or you do something with wine, you surround yourself with people that really do live the passion. Because like I haven't met probably any winemaker who would say, oh, you know, I do this as an office job and to get my salary and to, you know, sustain my family. No. For most people, this is actually a lifestyle, and it's beautiful. I love this part, and that's that joining all these dots and being here in Spain. It was a hobby that later took so much of my time and energy and everything. I said, like, no, I would rather make it also my work. So that's how it started. And and I started with the idea of little wine club, which was Wine by the Glass, a subscription box where people could receive 5 different wines in small tubes and taste them and discover what they like, know the stories behind the wines. So that was kind of the first idea. But then I realized that I have to know a bit more what's like in the field and to work a little bit for the winery. So I became part of one winery, started working as like an export person, and got really, really involved in this organic winery. So that was also what gave me like all this experience of wine exports, discovering the markets, discovering winemaking, like everything. It was the base for my wine learning. And then after this, it all went into creating Wine Sapiens. So Wine Sapiens is my current project. The main idea is to show the world that Spanish diversity and the organic wines.
Amazing. It's such a beautiful project, and it's so nice that you managed to join your passion and your work.
Exactly.
Super nice.
So that is, something that there is this saying that I really believe in: choose a job you love, and you will not have to work a day in your life. So it was this field helped me to achieve ikigai.
So nice. I guess you're by now you're an expert in Spanish wine. I'm not. So maybe you can give us a little bit introduction as to the grape you find in Spain. Malbec, or I don't know. I'm really a newbie in that field. So
it has hundreds of native grapes. Not Malbec though. Malbec is mainly in Argentina, but it has the diversity of Spain that was I wanted always to show to the world, because there are so many native varieties and also different styles, because Spain is diverse of its geography. You have like from desert to mountains to volcanic soils, Mediterranean, Atlantic, all this, like the geography makes big impact. So later the wine styles and different grapes are planted there. So each region is well known for one or another grape variety or style. Let's say we have Priorat here in Catalonia with Grenache and Carignan being most well known, and the blends that they do here, and Tempranillo. That's probably most well-known grape variety of Spain. And so we have Tempranillo and Rioja, and where they do more, they are known for barrel-aged wines. But you have Tempranillo and Ribera del Duero, that is totally different. And then you have Galicia, that is the green part of Spain, with Albariño, that I always say it feels and smells of Atlantic Ocean. And you go to Valencia, which Valencia is, where I started my wine journey. So we have the kingdom of Bobal and many other varieties. So it's really, really diverse. And that's why, I would never say that I'm an expert, because it's something you can spend all your life learning and you still would feel that there is something new to discover, especially with like a native variety, since that are so little known, and each region has hundreds of them. So each time learning a little bit, showing people, talking about this, but I think the rest of my life will spend learning.
Wow, that's so humbling, and thank you so much for sharing. Maybe some more down to earth question. Is there a region which is more famous than the others in Spain for wine production? I'm thinking about France, which has this Bordeaux region, which is kind of the flagship region for wine production. Is there such a region in Spain?
Yes, definitely. There are regions that are more well known internationally and that they started exporting, for example, like Rioja. No, probably we have to say that Rioja is the most internationally known Spanish region, and it has connection.
Where is that? Where is that?
So Rioja is in north of Spain, north of Spain. That is also has a connection with Bordeaux. That it had the impact, and the winemakers from there came to Rioja and made their part in wine culture and in winemaking at certain times, and until now, it still stays. No, so Rioja, let's say, is a more classic wine region. But then we also have, as I mentioned, Priorat. That's very well known here in Catalonia. So, nice. For its quite sun-soaked, powerful, long-lasting wines, and Ribera del Duero that has some very also famous names like Vega Sicilia, that is, I would say, probably most iconic wine of Spain. As you know, they have Romani Conti, in France, so we have Vega Sicilia. No, not so many these very premium priced and long history having wines. So Vega Sicilia is one of them. So these regions, but I try to, even though these regions, let's say, are more well known because of Spain is so diverse, and you have like Rías Baixas in Galicia, that, not to mention them, I think it's a shame. And now more and more regions are getting more known because they are being very, very exported. Spain exports a lot of the wines.
Okay, it's yeah, sure. I guess it's part of the success of the winemaking industry. The export, that means it's recognized as being good.
Yes, definitely. It's very important also to be kind of recognized locally. I always say, like, I appreciate the wineries that are very established locally, and then they export. So, like, local people love you, and then you go to the world. And but yeah. Many wineries actually export 80% of their wines. So nowadays you can find them all over the world, and I've been dedicating my professional life to help them for this.
Nice. Yeah, when you say Spanish wine, I always think about cava. So I definitely have a really good image of Spanish wines.
Definitely, the cava is like in terms of style. So in Spain you have the still red wines, you have fortified wines, and you have the sparklings. So cava here in Catalonia is it's to celebrate life, and we have many very long history having wineries of cava here.
Nice. Would you share maybe some characteristic of organic wines that differentiate them from conventional wines, since it's your specialty?
Yeah, definitely. So I would say that what is most important aspect in this is probably talking about the soil, because the organic wines in the vineyard, they don't use any herbicides or pesticides to pollute the soil. No, so I would say the main thing is that organic wines are definitely better for the planet. So at least not to polluting the soil. And at the same time, we can say actually they are better for you, because it's not that all conventional wines have additives, but it's true that some big corporations producing wines and selling them at low prices in supermarkets do use some additives to change the color, the tannins, the alcohol. So it all goes into your body. So it's better for the planet, it's definitely better for you. And let's be honest, I wouldn't say that in the taste, you can say that, oh, this wine is organic and this is not. We wouldn't say this, but what is true that when you work organics, and especially biodynamics, that is, biodynamics is kind of an organics couple of steps up in terms of following the rhythms of nature and taking more care of the soil life. So you have to spend a lot of manual work and lots of effort. When you spend so much effort taking care of your vineyard, you end up making better wine. So even though you cannot taste and see the difference between the two, there are many wines that I would say are better just because of this extra effort the winemaker has to do.
So if I summarize, you cannot tell the taste, but in general, organic wines would taste better because producer would put more effort into them.
Yeah, especially exactly. I mean, I would say it's also a certain placebo effect that it can be if you know the story behind the wine, no? Because in wine there is a lot of placebo effect, but if you know the story behind that this vineyard is worked organically with no chemicals in them, the winemaker does everything manually, you have biodiversity in the vineyard. All this really helps you to enjoy more. No, that's why important also to know the story behind, and 100% is definitely better for the environment.
As a new mom, I guess it's something you care about, right?
Yes, I do because I think we have to show the example for our kids, and it's like if we want them to be in one way, the best thing we can do is actually show them an example and do it ourselves. No, so I will not be able to force my little daughter that is now 5 months old, to
Congratulations.
Thank you, to I don't know, take care of the nature. But if she sees that I do that, and if she sees me like, I don't know, eating organic or growing my own vegetables, I believe she will also want to follow. So that's something I want to do, and that's why being mother or father makes you a better person, no? Because you suddenly have somebody for who you are an example, and you want to be a positive example. So that's what I'm learning.
Nice to hear. I'm not sure how common it is, but I heard many times people becoming organic or turning to organic food because they become parents. So I think it's a very nice story.
Yeah, I think I had this kind of organic, even before getting into the wine. For me was kind of, I believed into what comes into what you put into your body, what you put into the soil is really very important. So I had that since the beginning, and that's why I decided to focus Wine Sapiens just on the organic, biodynamic, or like natural wine producers. And I apply this for wines, but also for food and other aspects.
Can you maybe elaborate more on what is it that you do with Wine Sapiens?
Yeah, so Wine Sapiens was created with the idea of showing the world the diversity of Spain through the organic, biodynamic, and then natural winemakers. And so I help in both ways. First, importers. I help them to find these wineries in Spain and kind of make them a little bit of the filter, no? Because there are hundreds of producers. Spain is big. Some of them, are very open and speak English and have, everything ready for export. Others not. So I help importers a little bit to kind of filter this, and depending what they're looking for, guide them on what could be producers that are really worth attention. The producers is like a very interesting story that's worth being told. So and then also kind of help them through all the process and communication with the wineries, and then creating I would say promotional material, no, like all the story behind. And so this is the aspect for the importers, and then for the producers, I represent them as the external export hand, so that all these boutique smaller producers can focus on what they do the best, which is taking care of the vines and making wine, so they don't have to worry about the paperwork and Excels and things and emails. So I do that part. I help them in finding ambassadors abroad. It's very important to find this kind of a suitable partner, because it's not that difficult to sell your wine. It's difficult to find a suitable importer for your project, because you look at ambassador. You look for an ambassador that falls in love with your product, with your story, with people behind, and then spreads the word.
Would you share maybe some success stories that you've had? I've read a few on your website, so maybe you can tell our listeners, how does it feel to get the right wine and to the right person?
Yeah, definitely. So I work with wineries that have different profile, from small boutique producers, that maybe there is like just one person project. I can mention, for example, one of the projects I really like, I work with, that is Bodegas Negon from Ribera del Duero. That is a biodynamic winery by Victor, who is like a person who takes care of the vines, makes the wine, packs them, and then he goes to the restaurants and sells them. He does everything himself. It's really inspirational. So, for example, I helped him to find an importer in Denmark that's very aligned to sustainable production, and with the story of him, he has the clients that later he can transmit the story. So that is really nice, to help these people, especially when they are like one person. You really feel that they need some support. And I also work with bigger wineries, like, for example, Bodegas Vegalfaro, that the winery that's from Valencia, that I was an export manager for a long time, and together we opened, I know, probably over 10 or maybe 15 markets all around the world. And until now, I have customers, like, for example, in Switzerland, we just have an order, the pallets traveling to Switzerland of these wines. And it's an importer that's loves what Vegalfaro does, tells the story also, and does the tastings, just kind of really takes care of these wines. As you live in Switzerland, I should probably tell you the shop, so maybe one day you have a chance and can go and enjoy one of these bottles.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we will definitely. That would be cool.
Yeah, I think they have a wine club, so you can join, and it's to get some of Mediterranean Spain.
Nice, and I love the fact that it's organic. Usually, that's the first thing I would ask, but I know with you, I have not to worry about that. So that's nice.
But most actually of my clients, like importers, only work with organic wines. So, for example, this importer in Switzerland, Amiata, so is just works with organic wines. So it's very easy, no? Because if you go to the shop and you know that whatever you take will have an organic certification on the bottle.
Amazing. I love this word, an organic word, and sustainable and everything. That's really the vision I have. So I'm so happy to find people who have the same.
Cool.
That's super nice to hear. You have another job as an ambassador for ACALA sparkling tea, right?
Yeah.
How do you balance the two? Like, how do you make it work?
So actually, it's, even though it would see like, one is like wine and another one is non-alcoholic, they're actually not so that far apart, because the final customer of both products is actually the same. It's a wine and gastronomy lover that is seeking new experiences. So ACALA sparkling tea was created by sommeliers who were specialized in wine and champagne, but then said like, wow, sometimes, on a Tuesday lunch with my nice fish, I want to enjoy like this food and drink pairing experience, but for certain reasons, I wouldn't like to drink alcohol. Maybe I'm driving, maybe I'm with my business clients, maybe, I'm pregnant. There are so many reasons, maybe just because this day, I don't feel like. So this was this lack of, niche of what to drink. Like water is so boring and so not food friendly. So that's how ACALA sparkling tea was created for these occasions, and that's why many of our clients, actually the same people, just one day, having ACALA, another day having a glass of champagne, and at the same time, the ACALA also represents all these certified organics, who represents this value, and also it's made from natural ingredients. It's very, very thoughtful with the nature, and that nature is my home country. So it's like an added value for me, because it's from pure Lithuania that, from the water to the ingredients like the berries or the fireweed tea, it comes from all these forests and natural fields. So they gather the ingredients to make ACALA. And for me, it's like terroir.
Yeah, that's actually stupid of me. I should have asked you to introduce the brand. I just know it from your profile, but I didn't know the story of the brand. So maybe you can do a quick introduction of ACALA. You said it's from Lithuania.
Yes. So ACALA is a sparkling tea made in Lithuania. And so it has, in the production process, has some part of the probably more well-known kombucha. So, it's a fermented tea. So it starts like as part of this is a fermented tea. And then we add some infused teas and some natural juices, maybe some the petals of the rose, to get some more aromas and complexity. And it's a part of this tea is also aged in different recipients, also wine barrels. So we use the inox and also wine barrels for aging. So it has the parts coming from wine. And as a result, we have a very gastronomic drink that has complexity, that has aromas that resemble wine, that is very food friendly. And it's also healthy for you, because all the good acids that come from fermented tea, the antioxidants from the natural juices. So it feels good for your body, and it tastes good, and it looks good. So it looks like in a nice fine bottle. You can pour in a wine glass and enjoy anytime, any day. So it's a complement to wine culture. That's why I would say it's easy for me to combine both, because it's a complement to wine lovers. And many of my clients that import wine, they also now import ACALA. So it's really goes together. For me to kind of balance both, and it joins two of my countries, my home country Lithuania, that I feel so patriotic about, and then Spain, that is kind of my home now. So it's nice. It's nice to have these two worlds joining together.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining the dots. And it sounds so natural that you do the two, actually, after you explained. So
Yeah, and as I probably, I don't know if I already mentioned, but that ACALA is also organic certified. It also comes from very terroir, nature driven, environment, because it's so important the ingredients you choose from. So it's all this is really resembles for me like the winemaking and what I love about the vineyards.
Amazing. Okay, so we arrive to the last question. Given your very extensive experience in wine and tasting and organic, what advice would you give to our listeners?
So, in terms of what to drink or what to choose in organic wines,
not necessarily. Just a general advice. From the top of your experience.
Mm-hmm.
Would you share any advice? It could be anything really.
Like I would say, like it's what I did in my post on LinkedIn. What you read. Like first of like to be like you're curious and to be the explorer, because that's the beauty of the wine world for me, is this discoveries you can do, discoveries you can do in your palate, the trip, the journey you can have with wine. So experiment. Don't, even though you find out one wine that you like, always try something new, and try to expand, the experience. And the second thing is, if you care about sustainability, do support the winemakers that make this extra effort, because it's so important for them. Like if you choose the products, it can be food, it can be wine, but if you choose the wine that's been produced in organic philosophy, in a very low intervention winery with lots of manual work, where the winemaker that took care of the soil, of the biodiversity of the vineyard, it's an extra effort, it's extra cost, and many of these is small family producers that live from the soil. So when you make purchasing choices, this is, you are a decision maker, and you decide where your 10 or 20 euros go. So if you do care about this, it's, by choosing these kind of products, it really makes a difference and encourages more people to follow. So that is something I would say from my side. And but the rest, if you have a chance, the best is when you travel, do come and visit wineries, because drinking a glass of wine in the middle of the vineyard where it was made from is the experience that later you will come back home, you close your eyes and you can teletransport you back to that moment, and it's the best. So that is something that people travel, and so many people come to Spain. So, and when you come to Barcelona, make this 45 minutes trip to the Cava region and enjoy that glass of cava in looking at the vines.
That's a beautiful piece of advice, and I take it for myself as well. So thank you so much.
Let me know if you come to Barcelona, Jonathan. I can definitely take you to some wineries around here, or if you have time to go a bit further and go 2 hours from Barcelona, I would take you 2 hours to my husband's winery, because my husband, the family has a vineyard in Montsant region, in a beautiful natural park that is definitely magic. I can proudly say this. It's organic, and not only organic, it's organic, biodiverse, botanical. We will make you drink wine and eat flowers there. So I really, really invite you to come to Vinyas Domenic also. And it's part of Wine Sapiens. So it's perfect.
That's amazing. So if you're listening, that's an appointment taken. So please do nudge me if I don't fulfill this invitation. So yeah, I will definitely make it, and yeah, it will be sooner rather than later.
Perfect. Very nice. Very nice. And exactly. So as I said, going to the place, it changes. And then you can see what the producers do with your rice. You can see how the vineyards look like. What is the atmosphere? It changes a lot. And it's something that, it's getting more and more popular. Actually, people do a lot of wine tourism in general, which is beautiful to see. So just is more encouraged.
Amazing. So thank you so much, Kristina Petraviciute.
Very well. Very well. Well said. Some people it takes them a while to pronounce.
I was rehearsing in my head just a few minutes ago. So thank you so much for validating.
Yeah, so thank you for you, and yeah, hopefully it was very nice first encounter there here online, and hopefully we will have one live at some point with a glass of wine or glass of ACALA, depending on the moment. So look forward to this.
Same. Thank you so much for your time today and for joining the show.
Perfect, Jonathan. Thank you for you, and big cheers for your project.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. It was a pleasure having Kristina with us, sharing her insights and stories from the world of organic Spanish wine and the unique offering of ACALA sparkling tea. We hope you found the conversation as enriching and enjoyable as we did. Remember, whether you're a seasoned wine connoisseur or simply someone who appreciates sustainable quality products, there's always something new to discover. So, keep exploring, keep tasting, and perhaps consider the impact your choices have on the environment and producers. Please make sure to subscribe to our podcast for more conversations with fascinating guests, and leave us a review if you enjoyed today's episode. Until next time, keep sharing and caring. Cheers!